seeing that too.
Yeah. So I'm just supposed to share that with everyone. We won't read it, but. The dream is.
Come by.
No, we're just sitting here. Yeah, so I don't know who that was, but.
I feel bad.
Yeah. I know, because it costs that much. Mine's a lot higher, but it's because I have a car. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't make it better, but. Good evening, everyone. We are so excited to have all of you here. We want to welcome you to our City Council meeting for Kaysville City for Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. The opening will be presented by Councilmember Abby Hunt, who will then lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right. So I started law school like 5 weeks ago, and it's been fun. And I have learned a lot, and you know, it's out in Provo, and you know, Provo and Utah County has been having kind of a rough go the last month, and I don't know, it just seems like everything in the world is kind of bleak. But one of my professors shared a story of how she's from another country, but then, you know, is a citizen here now, and how she watched the process of her country go from being a prosperous nation into kind of the chaos that they're in right now. And she was like, yeah, you know, I'm hoping this gives you hope. And I was like, yeah, that's really great. And because a lot of the things that she said sounded similar to, I think, some of the things we're experiencing with our nation right now. And but one thing she brought up was kind of she said, but I'm a proceduralist, like I believe in the rule of law. And that really struck a chord with me. In our nation, we're so lucky to be subject to laws that benefit us and keep us safe, and to have a system of governance that works for the people, and that at this level people can get involved in. And so I guess with that, I just wanted to say how grateful I am. And, you know, even when times are bleak, it's important to remember that our country's gone through some hard stuff before, and that if we continue to stick to the laws and we continue to be supportive of the rule of of the rule of law and of governance, that we'll be able to make it through. And so, you know, with that, I always think, you know, a practical thing, what can we do? And I think, you know, we're doing it right here by being here. I'm excited to have our youth council here, our youth city council, and the families that support them, and our citizens. You know, that's really where all of this starts, and how we continue to make it through hard times like we've gone through recently. Something I've been doing with my family is doing a case of the day, so I get lots of cases in law school. And one of my professors gave me this idea. She said her dad was a judge, and he did it with them, and 3 of his kids are lawyers. So, you know, just planning for my future. But it's been fun to see the kids kind of go through and try to parse out the laws and why what's fair is fair and what's not. And so I think all of us can find something like that in our lives that we can do to continue to, I guess, bring the rule of law and patriotism and you know, anything else like that into our everyday lives, and remember how lucky we are. So another part of that is just, one of my favorite parts of these meetings is saying the pledge. Like, it's a good reminder of why we're here and why we do what we do. So with that, why don't we go ahead and do the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Hunt, for that great reminder. We are so fortunate to live here and have this form of government where we're able to assemble and we're able to discuss and learn about our city. And so super excited that we have a room full of youth. We don't have anyone signed up to speak during our call to the public time. Let me just double check that for sure. Yep, we don't have anyone signed up to speak. And so the next item on the agenda is the swearing in of our 2025-2026 Youth Court Council. So we're really excited about that. Linda, do you want to come up and introduce the students, and then I'll perform the swearing in? I should have prepared you for that. Sorry about that. Will you speak into the mic? Thank you. We all want to make sure everyone can hear you. Yes.
Okay, our 25-26 Youth City Council, we have, I'll start actually with our mayor, is Bodie Schimmer. Come on up.
Come on down.
So, and then we have Natalie Barlow, and some of these kids can't be here, but if they're here, they'll come on up. McKay Clemens, Lucy Ellis, Macy West, Jason Hayes, Ty Williams, Annie Murphy, McCoy Erickson, Crew Hope, Jed Jacobs-Meyer, Clara Jenks, Grace Layton, Sylvia Kazir, actually don't know how to say her last name, Bevan Haycock, Kate Layton, Allie Schimmer, and Eliza Williams. And they are great, and they've been doing a great job already.
Linda, will you just take 30 seconds and just explain to people who might not know what they do and how much time? You're the advisor. I should have explained that. You're the Youth City Council advisor, so thank you for doing that for us.
You're welcome. We are kind of a service arm, really. It's the opportunity. It's wonderful that the city sponsors us. It's been going, I think, here in the city about 10 years. And they recruited me pretty early on. I think it had been going a couple of years before I joined. And it was very, they did like 2 things during the year. And one of the main things is that they attend a day at the legislature, so that they get a chance to be introduced to how the state's legislative process. And they would go on the day of the League of Cities and Towns, so that they would kind of mingle with our city leaders. And that is a wonderful experience that we get to do every year, probably the highlight of the year. We have in the past, and sometimes it depends on how much time we have. Time runs out quickly in the year for these busy kids. We've had mock debates with the Fruit Heights Youth City Council before, and we've had mock debates with our city council before, which is really fun. You guys are sometimes rough, but you guys know what it's like. So, but primarily we also provide service to the city. Particularly the Parks and Rec programs that they do. So we just finished making a scarecrow for the Scarecrow Walk that represented Kaysville City. And we'll be helping with the Fable Forest coming up in October, which is a food donation opportunity, and also really fun for families. It's a free event where you can come down and kind of do like a little spooky walk through some of the fables. Really, really fun. That was the first year, was the last year, and then we do that, and then we help with Kaysville Gives, which is the city's service sub for Santa type program for local. Most of the stuff stays very local for local needs here. So we just kind of provide that moral support. The kids help with the mayor's lunch with the mayors, with the elementary kids. Those are some of the fun things we do. It's not the same as the youth court. The youth court has a very specific other position, and we're more the kinder, gentler, serve and look wonderful for the city.
Right,
so yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And Councilmember John Adams is our liaison from the city, and Lucy Ellis is my intern. So this is very exciting. So I'm excited to be able to come down and swear you guys in. So just a sec. Let's see if this works. Okay, raise your right hands, please. Good. Okay, and then just repeat after me. I, say your name. So I do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Utah, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity. All right, thank you so much for you guys. Will you stay up here for a picture? Let's give them a round of applause.
And we'll probably do 2 rows.
Can you see the Harry? What about Mike? He's kind of doing a little. America. All right, let's go.
You don't have to go to school on Friday?
I don't ever ask.
Thank you, families, for being so supportive of your students. It takes a lot of time, and we just love having them with us. And we're having a candidate night on Monday, and a lot of these student city council leaders will be there, so we're excited for that opportunity as well. Okay, we now have a proclamation honoring Beckham Dixon, who is related to our own Robin, and we're so proud to have him here. So I'll turn the mic over to Bryce Chapman from Davis Tech to introduce them, and then Jason will read the proclamation.
Hello, I'm Bryce Chapman. It's an honor to be here representing Davis Tech and the plumbing program. Just to give you a little information what Skills USA is, it's a national organization that promotes the excellence in skills and trades and student leadership. And it's a program that I've been involved with for the last 27 years. And what Beckham did for her this year is that we have a chapter at Davis Tech that we belong to, have our own chapter, and all the students can prepare to go in and participate in these contests that are in just about every trade. For instance, it goes as high as medical math, and I don't want to say as low, but clear down to janitorial mopping of a floor. And I mean, they have a contest in everything. And it gives the opportunity for these students to show their excellence in the field of their choice. And so as a student, Beckham took the plumbing class, high school pre-apprenticeship class that we have there at Davis Tech. As a junior, he took it, and then you're a senior this year, right? And so last year, he had the opportunity to go back with our other instructor, Craig Randall, and go to Atlanta, Georgia, and compete against 43, I believe it was, other states, students from other states, and he came away with the gold medal. He's a national champion.
Very awesome.
So I want to introduce to you Beckham Dixon here, and you know, he's telling me he wants to go back this year and repeat because he can go back 2 years in a row.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're crossing our fingers, and just so you know, this is our 5th national champion from Davis Tech. So
Outstanding.
it's great opportunities for these students.
That is really awesome. Congratulations. Would you like to say anything? Not really, but feel free.
Yeah, just wanted to say, like, thanks to Bryce and Craig, obviously, just for the program, and then thanks to Jason. You know, he's my boss. That's who I work for. So just thanks to them for teaching me everything I know. So
Can you tell us real quick? Oh,
Go ahead.
Mayor, do you
Oh,
mind?
sure.
So I'm on the board for we do at Davis Tech, we do the,
Foundation.
what is it, the foundation, and I know we submit a little bit of money for this trip, and so I want to hear kind of what'd you do to win the gold? Like, was it a fascinating?
Yeah, so basically what it is it's basically in this big conference center in Georgia, and there's like different halls, like A, B, C, D, and then there's just like all these booths for like, so they got a bunch of companies coming in like Cat, Delta, American, just kind of selling stuff, and then they have all these fenced out areas for all the different trades. And then for the plumbing specifically, it was a 12-hour, basically plumb off, you could say. But then they give you like these, it's like 5 feet by 8 feet tall platforms, and basically you had to do a full cast iron rough in, PVC wall drainage, full lav, so like wall hung sink all together, toilet rough in, and then we roughed in a laundry sink.
Oh,
And they
wow.
basically just tell you the instructions of the, they basically they don't tell you like how to do anything. They just give you like the parameters, and then they give you a booklet with all the plans, and then they just say do it, and then they basically just whoever follows it close enough to the plan is who wins.
That's awesome.
That's really good.
cool. I hope they gave you a gold wrench or something.
No, it was they gave so basically, and then what I wanted was a medal. I forgot to bring it. I should have brought it, but
That's
it's just
all
a little medal, and then they gave a medallion, which Davis Tech has, and then just like some money and some other tools and stuff. But
Very cool.
I think it's a gold plunger.
A gold
yeah,
plunger.
there we go.
Just didn't want to.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, yeah, congratulations. That
Thank
is
you.
really neat. What an accomplishment. We have a proclamation for you that Jason, our city manager, is going to read.
It's my pleasure to read the proclamation on behalf of the mayor and council. Whereas Kaysville City is proud to recognize residents who demonstrate excellence, hard work, and achievement. And whereas Beckham Dixon, a Kaysville resident and high school senior, has shown outstanding talent in the plumbing trade while pursuing his education at Davis Tech Technical College. And whereas Beckham won both the Davis Technical College and Utah State Skills USA competitions, advancing to the National Skills USA Championships in Atlanta, Georgia, where he competed among 15,000 students and 50 other state champions in plumbing. And whereas, as one of the youngest competitors in his field, Beckham earned the title of National Skills USA Champion in plumbing, impressing judges with his exceptional performance. And whereas his success has earned him awards, professional tools, scholarships, and opportunities to represent the United States at the World Championships in Germany. And whereas Beckham has also been recognized twice at Davis High School as Student of the Month in the Building Trades program, reflecting his strong character, work ethic, and leadership. Now therefore be it proclaimed that Mayor Tamara Tran and the City Council of Kaysville City do hereby recognize and congratulate Beckham Dixon for his remarkable achievement and extend appreciation for the honor he brings to the school, his school, community, and city.
Yeah, thank you.
Picture.
Thank you. Yeah, we would love a picture with you because, you know, we're really into pictures. So, yeah, let's do it.
Oh, well, you're getting ready for the pictures. Is your cousin here, Beckham? Tanner? I just a shout out to Tanner Knighton, who's is Beckham's cousin, and Tanner, I understand, also won the Davis Tech competition and the Utah State Skills USA competition in 2023. Is that correct? So, and placed 15th, 15th nationally in 2023. So.
Dude, congrats. Thank you. Congrats. Thank you.
Hey, Mayor, if I may too, with Robin in the audience,
Yes.
Robin is amazing too.
Yeah.
I can't not take the opportunity because she runs that recreation program like nobody's business, and I don't know how she does it. Literally running hundreds of games throughout the weeks, and my wife's had the opportunity to work with her directly with the parade stuff and just raves about her. So this family just doesn't know how to do anything halfway. They're all amazing, apparently. It's in the genes. But thank
You're
you.
absolutely right. Thank you. I would be in very big trouble with President Brush if I didn't mention, so I'm the chair of the Board of Directors for Davis Tech, or Board of Trustees, and so I'm so proud of our school, so proud that you're students, and so thank you for the great way in which you make the school shine. Davis Tech is a gem, and we're really glad to have it here in Kaysville, so yes, they do a great job. Okay, thanks, everybody.
You can tell them they can leave or they can stay.
You can leave or you can stay, yes, whatever you guys would like to do. But thank you for being here.
I do ice cream across the street.
Yeah, ice cream sounds good.
Replaced 2 toilets at our house.
Really, did it? That's awesome. Yeah. Thank you. All right, so the next item on the agenda here is a proclamation recognizing Public Power Week, October 5th through 11th. I'm going to read this. Whereas Kaysville City places a high value on operating a community-owned, not-for-profit electric utility where citizens who are both customers and owners have a direct say in operations and policies, and whereas Kaysville Power and Light provides reliable, efficient, and safe electricity, employing sound business practices designed to ensure the best possible service at not-for-profit rates, and whereas Kaysville Power and Light is a valuable community asset that contributes to the community through energy efficiency, customer service, environmental protection, economic development, and safety awareness. And whereas Kaysville Power and Light is a dependable local institution that provides many consumer protections, continues to make our community a better place to live and work, and contributes to protecting the global environment. Now therefore be it resolved that Kaysville Power and Light will continue to work to bring low-cost, safe, reliable, and sustainable electricity to residents and businesses, just as it has since 1908, the year the utility was created to serve all the citizens of Kaysville City. And be it therefore further resolved that I, Tamara Tran, Mayor of Kaysville City, on behalf of the Kaysville City Council, do hereby proclaim October 5th through 11th, 2025 as Public Power Week, in recognition of the people behind Kaysville Power and Light and their contributions to the community, and to raise awareness among customer owners, policymakers, and employees about the benefits of public power. Thank you. Okay. Mosquito Abatement District Davis proposed increase. I'll turn this over to Councilmember Blackham. He is on the board for mosquito abatement.
So, as you'll hear later, you have to follow the procedures of a tax increase. But one of the things that, so the Mosquito Abatement District Davis is proposing a tax increase, and I'm going to give you a few bullet points and reasons why. They have a 27-year-old pesticide storage building that will no longer accommodate the amount of pesticides that they need and use and how they handle those. They need to be able to safely handle and properly store that mosquito control stuff, and we need to make sure it has the proper spill containment, and the current facility doesn't do that. And then the chemical usage for mosquito control. Usage has changed. The regular occurrence with West Nile virus has increased the need for different types of adult mosquito control. And so part of that would be the new adulticides for the chemicals. And because those pesky little buggers build up a resistance to chemicals as you use them, and the cost and the amount of chemicals has gone up dramatically. We're using about a chemical that was about $75 a gallon, and we've had to change to one called Remoa Tri. And Remoa Tri is about $295 a gallon, but that's the cost of about everything with the increase it has. And their current building right now is just too hard to move those products around. They can't get a forklift and a pallet in there because they're having to buy chemicals in larger totes and containers. And because they're trying to buy enough of it in volume that they get a better price for it, for what they use. And then one of the other things that's changed, as you know, as the Wasatch Front has become more populated, you've seen all the areas and all the houses move closer and closer to the west. It's made it harder and harder to be able to use airplanes to go down there and fly for adult sighting. And so they've had to start using drones, which is a really effective tool. But that means now by using the drones here, because we have a hangar up in Ogden where we store a lot of the chemicals, but now using the drones down here, we have to have more chemicals here and the safe use of those chemicals. Because if you have small areas, like if you build around, say, a 5 or 6 acre plot and there's houses around them and there's water there, you're going to get a lot of mosquitoes coming off that. You get a lot more complaints, a lot more people want mosquito control. So with the drones, you can get into those small areas where you can't get airplanes into them. And the more the urban sprawl goes to the lake, the more that demand has been. And so that is another one of the reasons. And then one of the other reasons that they needed is because they've had to have their own lab now. They do their own testing. They actually have mosquito pools that they test all the time because what they're looking for is virus. And they used to have the state lab test, but everybody was having the state lab test. And by the time you get the results back from it, it might be a week or two before you get your results, and you're not able to get on the control fast enough. And so that's one of the reasons they think that West Nile may spread faster, because you can't get to the areas and control it faster. So what this does by having an in-house lab is now they can do the PCR test right there. They can collect one night, they can do the PCR test the next day, and if it looks like it's a positive pool or something, then they can immediately get the crews out there and spraying in those areas. And so the lab is a new thing that they've had to add, and they're trying to get the labs and the traps all into one area. So that's one of the expansions that they need to do. And then the last one is the employee needs, because like I talked about before, they have a lot more part-time employees that come in seasonal. And in the past, there was maybe 1 or 2 females and the rest were males, but now it's kind of, you know, if they get 25, half of those, 25 of their seasonal employees, half of them are females, and they don't have the locker rooms and the space for them because they are out there handling chemicals and that. They do have shower rooms for them to clean up and keep their clothes there and wash them, and so that they're not taking those clothes home and stuff. So those are the needs for the tax increase, because they do need to do a remodel in addition to the building, and add a new pesticide storage facility and a lab. And so what that does, as far as now the numbers part, that's the most important. So the average residents in Davis County, because the difference with mosquito abatement is it's not just Kaysville, it's every resident in Davis County. And so the average resident in Davis County has a $600,000 value. Right now, the residents pay about $30.69 per year on that value of house. The new amount will take them to $38.61, which is an increase of $7.92, which is roughly about 66 cents a month. The increase on businesses is from $55.80 to $70.20. Business increase is about $14.40 per year. That's $1.20 per month. The tax increase is going to bring in about $1 million a year. That tax increase is because the estimated cost of the addition and the new buildings and all the work is going to be about $9,200,000, which is going to be about a 15-year loan of $855,000 per year for the bond. The extra amount that I talked about, you know, the $850 is to pay the bond, but there's about another $150,000 there. That's to help pay for the increase in chemicals and inflation. So that's what it's about. And I definitely want to make sure everybody knows that the public hearing for the tax increase will be December 11th, 2025 at 7 p.m. at 85 North, 600 West in Kaysville.
And just so anyone listening isn't confused, this is not a Kaysville City public hearing or tax increase. This is for mosquito abatement, which is a separate taxing entity. We just have to notify, there's a law, right, Mike, that every city
Yeah.
has to discuss it?
Yeah, every city
Okay.
has to be on the agenda. We probably talked about it more here tonight than we actually have to, but we like to make sure people are informed with everything. And all this will be on the website of the Mosquito Abatement District Davis. So you can look at that. And I know Gary Hatch is available for phone calls if you want to call him and talk to him about it. He's the manager down there and does a wonderful job. And I'm sure he'd be more than happy to talk to anybody who'd like to call him.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have any conflicts of interest to declare before we move on? No, okay. Seeing none, would someone like to make a motion on the consent agenda, items 5A, B, and C?
I'll make a motion that we approve consent items A, B, and C.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion? Seeing none, Councilmember Hunt.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Okay, motion carries. The next item is 6A, discussion on the Utah State Tax Commissioner's denial of Kaysville's 2025 property tax rate. Turn this over to Jason to present and lead us in this discussion.
Thank you, Mayor. So, first of all, what happened was, as everyone knows, we spent the last 8 or 9 months discussing the FY26 budget, which was adopted by the council and approved in our August 7th meeting. The tax rate then went before the Utah State Tax Commission, and many cities like Kaysville received a denial letter about 2 weeks ago, and that is due to some legislation that was passed this year. Specifically, this is the language that we received as to the reasons why Kaysville was denied its tax increase. Number one was we held a meeting. So the night of the tax increase, so the property tax hearing, we had the truth and taxation hearing at 6:30, and then we had our regular city council at 7 o'clock. And the regular city council meeting had the approval of the budget on it. And the way the new legislation reads is they want one meeting and nothing really else that night, if possible. They don't want any other city regular business discussed on the night of the tax increase. And that's something that's been pretty standard up until this year, but the new legislation has changed that. So the other thing that was done is the county prepares a list of all the taxing entities throughout the county. Every city that has a tax increase, a school district, mosquito abatement, whoever has a tax increase, they have a list of those increases throughout the county. And this new legislation requires that that list be presented at the public hearing. So even if Clearfield has a tax increase, we're supposed to present that list here at our public hearing. And so, like I said, we were told by the tax commission that about 60% of the taxing entities across the state were denied due to some of this new legislation. I think that might have gone down a little bit because some of the cities and school districts showed that they had complied, but still there were many who did not receive their increases this year. So that's the reason, that's what happened. What does this mean for Kaysville residents? What it means is the taxes will not increase. The tax rate that we had last year will be the same as, well, the amount collected, I should say, last year will be the same dollar amount that will be collected this year. So the tax rate for 2025 that people will receive in a couple of months is 0.001455. That's a slight decrease from last year's rate. And as you probably know, as valuations increase, the rate goes down in order to keep the dollar amount that's collected the same. So the dollar amount that the city will receive will be the same this year as it was last year. We continue to have the third lowest tax rate of the 15 cities in Davis County. South Weber and Layton have lower rates than us, but
Are these all refreshed?
these are all refreshed and current, correct? Correct, yes. So,
Do you know where we were gonna be?
we were going
What
to
was our
be,
number, do you remember?
Yeah, forget the number off the top of my head, but it was going to put us right between
Fruit Heights and Center.
Fruit Heights and Farmington.
We didn't have this information when we made the decision, this updated, did we?
Yeah, we did. We had this because this was based
I
upon the
think
year
it put
before.
us 7. Wasn't it 7? Put us 7?
I
I mean, if you can see the Fruit Heights number of .001717 and Farmington's of .00166, we were right in between there. That was what it was going to be. That was going to increase the average Kaysville residents' property tax by about $14 a month. That's what was denied, so our rate will remain about the same, but yes, these are the refreshed numbers, so reflecting the current rates that, the rates that the cities will receive this coming December.
And Perry was right. We were number 7 in the list of 15 cities. Had this worked, had the tax increase happened, 15 cities in the county, and we would be 7th on the list.
Mayor, would that be number 7 even with their tax increases as well?
This was based upon 2025 rates, including service districts. Yeah.
So again, we continue to be, as we were last year, this coming year we'll continue to be the 3rd lowest in the city. This next chart just shows where our rate's been over the last 15 years. So you can see around 2013-14, it shut up a little bit. That was due to a few things. That was the year that we bonded for the new police station building, so that bumped up the rate a bit. We also went to a full-time fire department around that time, so there were some things that kind of helped push that increase up a little bit. But we've kind of gone back down. If this chart were to go back to 2001, back 25 years, our tax rate today for Kaysville City is actually lower than the rate in 2001. So we've maintained or held a fairly steady rate over the last 25 years, despite increasing a lot of services like the fire department, building new buildings, things like that. So some of the reasons we were going to have a tax increase, just as a reminder, were just general rising costs for fire, EMS, police, parks and recreation, cemetery, all those things. We're seeing cost increases like everyone else is, and the cost of providing services. Everything is going up. And most of our budget in the general fund, at least, is employees, personnel. Like any city, you'll see anywhere from 2/3 to 3/4 of the cost being employees, and a lot of those are increases on, everything from insurance to wages and things like that. Another major factor in the increase was going to be to start allocating money for the new Kaysville field house, the gymnasium project that's going in over next door to Kaysville Junior High. That project is still on track. They're expected to bid that out. It was going to be December. Now it looks like it's January. They're just trying to do some value engineering, make sure they've got the very best, most efficient and lowest cost building they can get for the money. And it's looking pretty good. So as far as financial management, what do we do from here? So like every city has a fund balance that they maintain to follow best practices. The Government Finance Officers Association recommends that cities maintain at least a minimum of 2 months of operating expenditures as a reserve, as a rainy day fund, should there be an emergency, a natural disaster, or legal things. Sometimes there's just a number of things that you might need to draw on that rainy day fund. So as best practice, as a conservative budget, we maintain a fund balance that's within the state requirement, below 35% and above that 2-month threshold that the GFOA recommends. And so what this would do is, without this tax increase this year, those costs would have to be absorbed basically into our reserve fund, and that would drop that reserve fund from 6.5 million roughly to about 4.1 million. That 4.1 million is still right at that best practices threshold of about 2 months of operating revenue, so we're still within the best practices. Obviously, we wouldn't want to go any further with that and continue to dip in. As you know, we've used that reserve fund for a couple of years to reduce the burden on the residents, but we're probably at that point where we wouldn't want to go any further and use the reserve fund until it at least stabilizes a little bit. But for now, we're in good shape. And again, I think what this means is the city, we carefully monitor our budget and look at ongoing revenues. We'll have to see how revenues look for the coming year. Where does sales tax go? Where do other revenues go? Where does inflation go and expenditures? And we'll have a better idea in the coming year, what would need to be done. But, for now, for this year, we are okay. And I didn't want to take a lot of time and get into a lot of detail in terms of, what does this mean for this year's projects? Again, we could fund all this year's projects with fund balance. Again, since we spent most of the last 8 or 9 months carefully vetting, debating items, and really only picking the things that we were determined to be of the most need. At this point, I would not recommend going back and pulling those out. If we did, there's a couple of projects maybe. The first one that comes to mind is, for example, the cremation garden. About $250,000 was budgeted this year to do that first phase. That is currently out to bid, so we haven't pulled the trigger on building that yet. We would like to see that open by Memorial Day next year. That's an example of a project that potentially could come out of the budget. The issue is if it were to come out, it'd be the first thing on the list for next year, and then it's only more expensive at that point. So it's just one of those, yeah. So happy to get into more detail if the council would like to, but this is kind of our recommendation of sort of what happened, what we recommend going forward, and happy to answer any questions.
I appreciate your summary there. There have been people that have asked, well, if you have a fund balance, why haven't you used it? Well, we have used it. In 2025, fiscal year 25, we used 1.1 million from the rainy day fund balance to plug into the general funds so that we didn't have to do an adjustment to taxes. Fiscal year 26, we used 949.9 thousand of the rainy day funds. And then this is another 1.7. And so the reason that we are not stressed about this and not overly concerned is because we've had a healthy fund balance, and that is the purpose of it. It's a rainy day fund. So I'm grateful to the council for making really wise decisions to not spend all of the money that was there and available to be spent. Moving forward, I agree with Councilmember Oaks. I think we continue on with the projects that we've already allotted for and already planned for, and then we be really careful and mind our P's and Q's as we move forward and have the continued budget discussions for this next year. Any other comments or questions, Councilmember Jackson?
Perry, you want to go?
Oh, Oaks.
No, my comment, so that means you don't really need budget discussions for next year, right? Because we already had them? Sorry.
Would be wonderful.
I hope you have long and detailed ones.
You will be living great over there.
So I just have a couple comments. We were at the League of Cities and Towns conference today, and part of the discussion that was had with all the mayors and council members was there's too many bills that pass the legislature each year, too much regulation coming down the pipeline for our cities. And I just want to go on record and say that I do not like this legislation that was passed at the state. I don't understand why we in Kaysville need to discuss a property tax increase up in Clearfield or any other city. I understand that the state probably wants some checks and balances on all the tax increases, but we have the authority and the ability here to manage our affairs, and we went through a long process as a city. We met several times, and we are very careful with how we handled all this. Everything was on record, and we're trying to handle our tax dollars the best way possible in our city. And so I'm dissatisfied with the state, and I know the legislature is going to meet for a special session in October. It's my understanding that the legislators don't want to tweak this to make an exception to allow some of these cities to go through with this tax increase, and I'm disappointed in that. I also, part of the problem was our county went through some changes with some staff, and I think some things slipped through the cracks. But yeah, I'm not happy about this, but we will move forward. I'm glad that we have a healthy fund balance, and I appreciate all my colleagues up here and the carefulness that we go through to handle your tax dollars. So.
Appreciate your comments. Thank you. Anyone else? Councilmember Hunt.
I just, ever since I found out about this, I've been thinking about it and thinking, well, what else could we cut? And Jason can kind of verify that. I was in his office saying, Jason, is there something else we should be doing? But, the more I thought about it and the more I got into it and the more I tried to find things, the more I realized that this year like has been said, we did a lot of meetings. We've gone through it with a fine-tooth comb. Other than maybe the cremation garden, which, as Perry pointed out, will just be more expensive next year. There's not really any fluff in this budget. So I know residents may be concerned that we're just like, oh, well, whatever, we'll just spend our savings. But I think it's important for people to know that it's a strategic move. We've been building up this thing, and slowly. I think a lot of people too are like, well, if you've got a cushion, why haven't you been using it? Well, we've been building it up slowly so we could use it for situations just like this, and unfortunately now we have a situation like this. So just thanks everyone for all the work they put in, and hope the state makes better decisions in the future.
Yes, we do. We'll be advocating for that because one of the many frustrations from the state level, but one frustration is that they love to talk about how they are reducing taxes. Well, when the state reduces taxes, they impose taxes upon cities because then it is up to cities to fund things that the state previously was funding with those taxes. And that's a really frustrating process because they don't have this transparent truth in taxation process. We don't see what other states are doing when they're raising or making tax decisions. And so we definitely need to have some continued discussions. And we're not saying that because we want to raise taxes. We're saying that because we want some accountability. What we've really worked hard as a council in doing is being as transparent and as inclusive as possible. We had more meetings this last tax season than we've had, work meetings, city council meetings, and lots of discussions to make sure that people know what we're doing. The other thing that this was being used for is to build up a balance so that we can fund our field house, which we will fund with a bond. So anyway, I just appreciate all the hard work from everybody. We're grateful to have a rainy day fund. That's what it's there for, but now we are at the point that we can't really dip into it anymore. And so we have asked departments to go back, see what they can do to scrub out any fluff, consolidate positions, and automate their systems, which we've done through some really clever software choices, and we have a really good IT department that's keeping us in the know so that we can be as efficient as possible. So thanks to Jason, thanks to everyone, appreciate you all. Councilmember Adams.
I'll be quick. I just think that it should be reiterated for everybody watching and those in the audience. The taxes have gone down, actually. If you looked at that, and it's confusing until you understand how the whole taxation system works for the city in the sense that we can only collect the same amount that we collected last year. There's more people here now, and so it spreads out amongst the more people, and your taxes actually go down in order to keep that same amount of money coming in. Like Jason said, I think it went down, from 0.0054 to 0.001, whatever. Anyway,
Yeah.
It definitely went down, so people will actually pay less this year. I'm super discouraged because I guess I feel like it would have been nicer for us to even at least be able to maintain the same rate that we kept, because this 2.5 million isn't going to pay for some amazing park or it's just going to pay for stuff that's going to be gone. It's this year basically, and so it's frustrating that the state did this. And that they aren't working with us this year on its first time, giving us maybe just like a chance to, I don't know, one strike or whatever. But it doesn't sound like we're going to win that fight, right?
Nope.
All right.
Anyway.
That's all. My piece.
Yeah, Councilmember Blackham?
All I want to say is, I've been part of this Kaysville family for 40 years or so, and, this is a hiccup in what's happened, but, these are great people we have leading our departments, and they're really good people, and it is a hiccup. They're going to look at this. They know what's happened. They're going to work their way through it, and they're going to get through it, and we're going to move on, and the people of Kaysville are going to get taken care of. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. It's a hiccup, but you have good people who are running the city, and they know what's happened. They're going to deal with it, and we're going to get through it, and we'll be fine.
Thank you. All right, anyone else? Okay, so this is a work item. We don't need to move this to anything, right? This was just a
Correct.
discussion. Okay, sounds good. Councilmember reports. We mentioned earlier, Monday is a Meet the Candidate night, so please show up. It's here at City Hall. It will be monitored and moderated by the Utah League of Women Voters. They're doing quite a few throughout the county. The City Council candidates and mayoral candidates will be here. We'll have hopefully a robust crowd. We'll be able to answer your questions, and hopefully you'll get a chance to know us. And then on October 13th, which is the following Monday, Representative Ariel DeFay has created an opportunity. She's calling it Politics in the Park. And she's invited our state legislators, so our senators and our representatives, as well as the city council and city council candidates to the park. We want to be able to meet you, talk to you, answer any questions, and then from a state level, they'll present information and share some information with you. So that will be on the 13th. We will post information about both of those on social media. Barnes Park, Pavilion 1, Barnes Park, on October 13th. And then this Monday, candidate night here at City Hall. And then I think that's it for me. Anyone else? Yes. The City Hall will be from 6 to 8 p.m. 6 to 6:30 will just be sort of an open house forum, just to talk. And then at 6:30, they're going to ask us questions. We'll be in a panel. It'll be a panel format. So we'll all answer the same questions, and then I think there might be a Q&A opportunity. And then, of course, we'll stick around in case people have other questions for us. And I was looking for, let me find the flyer really fast for Ariel. I'm awkwardly looking for this, let's see. It is, okay, so Politics in the Park, it's in Pavilion 1 at the Barnes Park from 6 to 7:30. And we hope people will stop by and say hello and ask questions and get to know your state senators and state representatives, because we have to have good relationships with them so that we can ask them good questions and give them some good talking points and thought points and let them know how what they're doing affects our city. And so it's really good to get to know them. Anyone else have anything they want to share? No? Okay, Jason, do you have anything?
Just really quick, Mayor. I know we've talked about this a lot before, but the strategic plan work session, it looks like Wednesday, November 5th from 7 to 9:30 is going to be the best overall date for everybody. So that is our plan. I know a calendar invite went out from Anne Marie, but we're looking forward to that. And then just a shout out to the fire department. They did a fantastic job on their open house last night. It's bigger and better, it seems, every year, and I know a lot of you were there, and they've brought in other departments, the police department, the power department, and there were just a ton of great activities, a lot of people, and I think it was just a great community building event, and we're just so appreciative of all the hard work that goes into those. That's all, Mayor. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. I was just going to add one last thing. It's trunk or treat at the fire station, and that will be October 29th, so we can talk about that
Is that
next.
the fire station?
Oh, sorry, at the police station.
Okay.
Yeah, trunk or treat, October 29th, and you'll see lots of social media posts about that. All right, thank you. Would someone like to make a motion to adjourn? I think we're done. Okay, thank you, everyone. Oh, all in favor? Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, that was pretty fast.
late.
Yeah, I know. It is. You guys, that night that I put out there.
Who are you guys taking notes, sitting here all through the meeting?
Oh, really? Did you enjoy it? Oh, you're Farmington. Oh. Tell Farmington our meetings are more fun.